Hello, happy Tuesday and welcome to Love and Lunch with Joanna Keeble and Jo Cooper. I don't know where she's appearing for you.
Oh, am I here? You can see me?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes indeed, in all your shining glory. So this is our 20-minute-ish Facebook Live weekly on a Tuesday, 1 p.m. UK time. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about surrender and control and preparedness. And so what should I say? I'm Joanna Keeble. I'm a certified life coach and founder of Big Beautiful Boundaries. You can find out about my online course at bigbeautifulboundaries.com. And I have a free Facebook group for people who are interested in growing, developing and experiencing a bit more connection and perhaps a higher quality conversation than the average Facebook experience. And that's Big Beautiful Boundary Builders. If you're interested in either of those things, drop me a message. And Jo, tell us.
Amazing. Yes, I'm Jo Cooper. I'm a dating, sex and relationship coach. And I am trying to think what I am. I was just like, I have started a coaching program. So I'm the founder of Melt, which is my coaching program, which I'm really excited about. And I also run a Facebook group as well for women, which is called Empowering Women to Ignite Their Desires. So to come together in sisterhood and support one another and talk about everything to do with like intimacy, relationships and desire, and how to really feel that in your body and start to use a language in order to communicate that to a partner or while you're dating or even to friends and family. So yeah.
All right, very nice. So I'll kick this off if that's all right.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about what it is I want to say. I'm going to start by saying that when Jo and I first talked about doing something and then came up with Love and Lunch, it was really quick and easy. And it was just like, yes, 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 very easy to say yes to. And I think we made something that was the right sort of shape and size to say yes to really easily. And then each week we might have an idea of what to talk about, like it might be left over from the previous week, or we might get a guiding question, or often I think it's like that morning we'll wake up and then send each other a couple of messages and say, yeah, I'm really thinking about that today, I'm really feeling into that today. And today we kind of didn't do that, and it was like right up to the last minute. I had an interesting situation because I was trying to get a dry towel for a shower, and I ended up like sitting by the dryer trying to dry this towel, and like I really want to have a shower, and then I want to get dressed and I want to prepare, and everything sort of went out the window. And yeah, as someone who's quite heavily tied to organization and planning, lifelong secretary, right? And my mom was an old school secretary back in the day with her typewriter as well. And I was brought up with a lot of like organization from her influence. So things have to be like done in a certain way at a certain time. There are rules and regulations and plans, and there's a structure for your morning and a structure for your evening. And I wrote everything down, and I still do. I have my pen with me all the time because I like to try and control the information in case it gets away from me. And there's a place there where I don't trust my mind. I don't trust my knowledge or my flow. And yeah, it's sort of noticing the places where sometimes, well, often, when I grip tight to control the way things the way that things happen, and to try to grip to a specific script or a specific plan in any area of my life, really noticing how that has kept me disconnected from people and feelings and the life experience, the quality that I want in my life experience. And I have a massive power to make things happen, but I've had to let that go in order for things to feel good. And I got to this spot today where I just gave up. I gave up on the shower. I let go of that. I just rejigged everything. And because I have a new commitment. My God is no longer preparing for everything, which never made me happy anyway. And my new God is like, you know what, it's got to be what feels good and what flows. And so there's a place where I was like, I'm not going to have enough time for this to happen in the way that I want it to happen. And then I managed to get that and reshape what that needs to look like, and just say, I know I'm going to have a cup of tea and really enjoy the cup of tea. And then we're going to do love and lunch, and it's going to be great. I'm going to love it. And like everything changed, and I was breathing differently. And I've just been sat here, and I pinged Joe a message a few minutes ago, like, hey, let's talk about like flow or like control and planning. And yeah, it feels really, really good. Well, I've kind of got more to say, but let's let you get.
I really love that piece around flow. I think we're like the opposite ends. I'm trying to get more organization into my life, but I'm actually, even though I love it, it kind of really wears me out. I mean, there's a couple of things I just wanted to talk about. One, I guess, in terms of relation, and I guess one in terms of a bit more of like an admin type thing, is like, I loved planning for my coaching program. And there was a part where like, can I just fully trust myself, like not to have it all planned and to be able to just feel what the group are bringing and trust that I can hold that and be of service to them in that place. Like, can I trust that I can do that? And I was just like, and to kind of go into that place of like deep surrender, you know, like my masculine wanted to have it all worked out, all planned out, because it would freak out if I had 5 minutes left at the end and I didn't have anything to say. And I said to the group of women, like, oh, it's a 90-minute session and we may finish early, and that's okay. I don't push for information. If we're meant to start 10 or 15 minutes early, I'm going to trust that that's what we need to do. I said it's more important to be with the flow than to squeeze for information. I said I don't work like that. That's not who I am as a coach. And that felt really good to almost like say that and just be and honor that. And I was just like, oh, this actually feels really good. I'm actually can plan some stuff and I can be in flow as well. And bang on, it finished dead on time. I think we were around 2 minutes over, but I was just like, it actually works. It works to have, for me, a loose structure and to be able to fully trust and to call in my higher power and to be in alignment with that and really hone into the thing. Like, what is the transmission here? What am I really in service to in this place? And this program, and bam, 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 they all had what they needed to get, all of them. And I got beautiful messages afterwards, you know, around how they felt like they were in the right place and this is for them. And it was just really beautiful to hear that. And, you know, I guess it's a real art form to really start to work with the feminine and the masculine in ways in which I haven't before. And so I'm really kind of flexing this muscle of what it feels like in all of these situations. But so that's one thing. The other thing is, you know, when you were speaking about the word like tight and control, and I was like, oh, I was meant to meet up with an ex over the weekend, and for whatever reason they couldn't make it. And I thought to myself, instead of getting lost in a story or getting tight, I was just like, it's not actually about that. I'm just not meant to meet them. I'm not meant to meet them, and that's okay. It will happen when it's meant to happen. And I think there was just a deep level of both knowing and surrender in that, where I didn't have to grip or control and think that, oh, it's about me. It is not about me. Nothing is about me. It's like all I've got to do is just show up and be in integrity to what my truth is. Am I living in congruency every day to my practices, to my life, to my truth, to my energy? Like, that is it. That
Like,
is
that's the
it.
preparation that we need to do. That's what I've realized, is we don't have to prepare every day, because we prepare every day by living by your beliefs. Yeah, that was the realization. I love what you said about integrity. That's the word that's coming up for me, because especially as
Yeah.
coaches, like, what is the end goal for ourselves and for anyone else? And for me, I think that flow and coming into alignment to a place where you feel really good, whatever's happening, you get to feel loved and safe and worthy and good. And what happens when we're willing to abandon that place in order to get something done? And it feels like there's a lack of integrity there. And yeah, so it's been a long journey for me coming into more integrity, being unwilling to go to that disconnected, scratchy place where I'm sort of violating myself, and where I'm willing to like push through no matter how it feels. I don't want to live there. I've spent a long time living there.
Pushing is exhausting, honey. Pushing is so
Mm.
exhausting. I was so exhausted yesterday, and I was just like, honey, just give it up. Give it up. What does this honey bitch want right now? She wants to have another bath. She wants to chill out. She wants a hot chocolate in a Christmas movie. And boy, did it feel good. And I went to bed at 8:30. I was just like, just fucking surrender. It doesn't, my Mondays do not need to look like bam, bam, bam every single time. Otherwise, I'm going against the grain. I'm going against the grain. It kind of feels like what you're speaking about them at the beginning, around that kind of like push and control. And, you know, because a few Mondays it's looked like this, and this is how my Mondays are going to look. And it's just like, it's not how it's going to work today.
You know what's coming up for me there is that phrase again. I think I said it last week because it popped up on my coaching program, because I've just done a second coaching program for myself. And one of the things that we did is we did a lot about NLP. And so this phrase came up, the map is not the territory. And it's that kind of way that like maps are really useful to us. And so we make a plan for the future, but we make it on an imagined construct of a future that doesn't yet exist. And if the future arrives and it doesn't fit, and we then religiously stick to the map, we're abandoning like our new needs and our new understanding and sticking to a map that doesn't fit anymore. And I think in society that there's a way that we've got to a place where that's sort of promoted and rewarded. You know, we praise that, like, oh yeah, she stuck to it, or he stuck to it. And I used to think the most important thing to do was to follow through on what you said you were going to do. And that sounds so much like integrity, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you do something that doesn't feel you're doing it out of integrity anymore, then who's losing?
And also, what are you really interested in, being in integrity, or are you interested in performing integrity? Is it more important for you to actually be in integrity, or is it your top priority to, you don't give a shit about integrity and you just want to seem in integrity because that feels safe? Then people will love you, respect you, as long as you look good. But you don't get to feel it. You don't get to respect yourself there.
Yeah, it's like being so fixated on the goal and being like, okay, so if I want to do this thing, or for example, like if I want to get a boyfriend, or say I want to have like a 20k month, it's like being so fixated and not feeling the place. Like, yeah, you may have some steps to take, but I think, you know, often people can lose out on the actual process and the things in between. Then I think there's a lot of control in that. There's a lot of control if you're like showing up and you're like, okay, I want to do a boyfriend, and you know that you want a boyfriend. I'm just going to say in a heterosexual relationship, and it could apply to anything really, but and you're acting and being a certain way, then there's a gripping and a control in that. and it's not
Mm.
and it's not really real, because you'll have to pretend to be someone else.
Mm. I think this comes down to like the underlying belief, right? So I want a boyfriend can be because for a number of reasons, like that would give me happiness or comfort or my mother's approval or society's approval, or then I'll look popular, or then I'll look like a nice person. People will know I'm lovable if I have a boyfriend. So there's something that it's going to give you. For me, many years ago, I thought I wanted a boyfriend. One of the reasons that I noticed is because I wanted someone to keep me warm at night. I was getting very cold at night, and I thought it would be so nice to have someone to snuggle up next to. Eventually, I got a hot water bottle. It was great.
That's beautiful.
I was like, that piece is gone. So I had this rule in my head that I have to have a partner because it's the default setting in society. And one of the reasons was I'm cold at night, and I really wasn't owning my power and like just solving that problem. So it's the shape that we think it has to show up in, and what we think it's going to mean for us, right? So when you think like, I want to achieve that, and I have to do these things. So there's two assumptions there, that achieving that will give you something, and that there is a specific way that has to happen.
And if you don't, what will happen?
Right?
Your whole world is going to collapse. Society's not going to like you.
Yeah,
you
if I let go,
done well. You're such a bad human.
What I see from some people, I don't want to name names, someone important to me who's I have noticed has a little thing with control, and what I notice about them is I get the sense it's almost like they can't afford to let go of their grip on the idea that they're controlling things. So there's a lot of work. Maybe I recognize this because I've done it myself, right? A place where it feels like I cannot allow the mask to slip and allow myself to feel like I'm not controlling everything. And there's a failure in there to recognize that I never was controlling everything. And it's like if you need to control your experience, you're definitely going to be unhappy because you're not controlling your experience, right? There's things we can do, there's steps we can take, but we don't get to control everything that's happening in the world. And also that beautiful realization, if you can find a way to let it go and recognize that the world keeps spinning even when I stop pedaling. I'm not actually willing the sun to rise myself. Stuff is taken care of without me. That was a really big realization for me as a control freak.
Amazing. And this has all happened with no planning and talking.
Yeah.
We're living proof. We're living proof.
I'm looking at my notes where I control information on a page.
I was just wondering if anyone had any questions for us. I mean, we've got a couple of minutes left before we wrap up. A few people have liked it. That's great. If you're online and you just want to say hi, then yeah, you can do that. If not, you can send Joanna or I a question afterwards, and yeah, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Yeah, we can answer it next time.
Amazing. All righty,
Awesome.
should we wrap up?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I thought I'd just leave it open and see what happens.
Yeah. No, I was just enjoying the space. I was just literally enjoying the space.
It does feel good.
It does. There's something, I don't know what's the word. It doesn't feel predictable. What's another word for that? It just,
I mean, I'm getting the word present.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're pointing to like spontaneous.
Yeah, there's another word I was thinking of, but hey ho.
Yeah.
Anyway, lovelies, I would love to keep in contact with you all, especially the women. And so, because if you have liked what yeah, we've been speaking about here today and you want to stay connected, then you can come over to my Facebook group, which I'll post the link below. And also, what else was I going to say? I love my coaching program so much that I'm going to start again at the end of January, the 31st. So if you're interested and you want to find out more, I'll definitely tell you more about that. But yeah, those are the information that I wanted to give you today.
All right, lovely. Yeah, so I'm Joanna Keeble. You can feel free to send me a friend request or follow me if you're interested in my content, and check out my Boundary Builders group on Facebook. So I've called it Big Beautiful Boundary Builders. I see it as a way to sort of start to unpick some of our regular everyday boundary bullshit, which we don't always notice, right? Just in society around us all the time. So yeah, I have fun with that. And every Friday is Fuck That Friday, where we share problematic memes and examples of society's boundary bullshit and how we're sort of miseducated on how we should show up in life and love and sex and relationships, and how that kind of screws us up a little bit. So yeah, Big Beautiful Boundary Builders, if you're interested, come on in, have a look. I've got a workshop coming up, but I'm committed to the flow and I'm not going to put a date on that. We had a date and then it was that, oh, that doesn't feel quite right. And so I'm workshopping the workshop, but I'm putting together the yes and no workshop with my brilliant partner, Daniel. And yeah, keep your eye out for that. And my website is bigbeautifulboundaries.com, where you can find out all about my online course. I'm going to leave it there.
Amazing, super. I love that. So yeah, we will see you next week. We will post our links below, so please stay in contact with us. We love you so much. Thank you if you have taken your time today to listen to us. And yeah, we will speak to you soon next week.